Well, hello traders and investors. I'm LA Little and this is your daily NeoTA wrap. Take a look at these markets and we're doing it from a neoclassical perspective. That's different than the classical stuff you always see. We're not using all these indicators. We're not using patterns. We're not using any of that. We're using time, price, and volume. I throw back to the old days. You don't see all that stuff on the charts here. You don't see a lot of mumbo jumbo. There's a very few rules in the neoclassical model. And those rules give you very high probability trades, and that's what it's all about, folks, is getting the odds on your side. I do a show 4 times a week, every Monday through Thursday, broadcast there before 10 o'clock Eastern Time, archived on YouTube and under the channel LA Little. If you want to subscribe, just reach on the right-hand corner. Anytime I push content, you will get a notification. As far as what happened today, it was a down day. We saw some pressure in Europe. That was what led us lower to start with. We were down, by the end of the day, we were down a lot less than we were during the day. The Russell was the one that was hit the most, elsewhere not that much. Now, last night, I talked to you a little bit about a presentation, a 2-for-1, make it more affordable. But you know what? I was thinking about it today, and you don't even need to make this thing more affordable. Just come with a little bit of money and you'll make enough money to pay for your tuition. Today I gave traders, members, a trade here on this Russell. And by the end of the day, you know, if you bought like say 500 shares, you made more than $500. And that's just on one trade, one time. And I want to talk a little bit about that to start with. If you look at this, what I just drew, that's a swing point high, and it was broken. It was broken here. Now, this is all neoclassical theory, and what is neoclassical? Neoclassical is a model that I created way back in 2006, 2007. Used it through the crash, made 6% during the crash, 2008. It made money ever since, and these models work in up and down markets. There's very few rules. You know, the best model you can create is one that has few rules and few interactions, and this is one of them. It's based on time, price, and volume purely. It's using supply and demand as you see it on the chart, and it's using trend and keeping trend in your favor. We know that trend is higher, right? And we're talking about this particular chart. Big spike up with the Russell, big sideways move going on. All right, consolidation after a big move. That's normal. That's what should happen. This thing wants to go higher before it's all over. But in the meantime, it continues to consolidate. Now, let's clean this up, and I'm going to show you one of the few principles that exist in the neoclassical model. Anytime you break a swing point high, right? And that's what we did right here. That's what that arrow shows you. You went over this swing point high. If you get over it, and if you stay long enough, and in the neoclassical model, that's 6 bars. If you stay long enough, when you come back to test it, in this case, the first time we tested it was here. It was today. When you come back to test it, your probabilities are more than 90% that you're going to at least get a bounce, if not a regeneration to the top side. So what does that mean? Well, when it comes in here, you buy it. And that's what we did today. I pulled the trigger. Members that went with me made a nice return on a hammer reversal off of this. I don't know if we're going to get follow through tomorrow. It was a little murky because you got a little volume escalation. You compare that, and again, these are the rules. You compare that to your breakout bar, and you compare it to your swing point high bar. If you look at those, it actually has more volume than both of those. Now, is that bad? No, it's not bad, and actually I pointed out the wrong one. It's really here. It just says that, you know, we can come back and test it again. So knowing that, what does that mean? Now, well, it means if you're trading, then you probably want to just take your profits. If you're investing, then you might want to let some of that hang, see if you can get up here and test these tops. And if you can't break it out, then maybe that's where you take your profits. Again, you have to wrap your trading rules, or actually your portfolio management rules, around the setups that present themselves. High probability, throw some money in it. 500 shares, you make 500 bucks. Put 1,000 shares, you make 1,000 bucks in a day. Pay for your tuition all in one shot. Folks, I don't even have to make it more affordable, but I am doing that with the 2-for-1 special. And as I outlined last night, We're going to take 5 slots only. You bring a friend, half price. Both of you get in for half price. We're going to invest time in you right off the bat. We're going to get you up to speed with what we're doing so that you can participate in this kind of things and you understand the principles behind the neoclassical model. Give you a good feel for the tools and everything else, answer whatever questions you have, and help you hit the ground running. We're not going to just, sell you something and then hopefully you find your way. That model just doesn't work. And so we've created a better model, and that is we're going to invest time in you. If we're going to invest time in you, we're going to need you to invest some time in yourself. And of course, help us out in terms of the cost, because there's certainly a cost with us giving you one-on-one attention. And so come over here if you're interested, hit the Get Started button or hit the Join Community button. It doesn't matter. You can pop in there, fill out an application, tell me a little bit about yourself, what you're trying to do, and if it's a good match, we'll try to bring you on. As far as the rest of the market, what happened today, let's take a look at the numbers. Actually, not the numbers, but the charts. Like last night, I'm having to do this a little bit early, so we don't have the volumes in yet, but you can see the pickaxe type reversal here on the S&P. Again, all this is doing still is just range trading, right? You get this higher range, keeps trading in that range. If you look at the NDX, which has actually been the strongest sector of late, playing catch up, it had a push down. What did it do? It tried to come back into the swing point high. Didn't quite make it. 4992, got to 4995. What do we have now? We have 4 bars working here. If you go 2 more, you're going to have 6. What does it mean when you have 6? Well, that means you're going to have a high probability of a buy when it finally comes back. Again, you can take that same principle and use it over and over and over again. Here's the NASDAQ. NASDAQ does get back into the swing point high. It did regenerate, or at least is attempting to regenerate to the upside. The one thing we haven't got, even though we got it on the S&P, on the IWM, which is the ETF, we haven't got the reset yet on the swing point lows here. If we look at this high, 1347.20, we got to 1346. So we got into this bar. Again, high probability that this is going to bounce. It's exactly what happened. And so that's what you're playing with Neoclassical. Folks, this stuff works. There are people I've mentored at this point, and the mentoring I haven't talked about a lot, but that's a one-on-one intensive education that you can get if you're a member. You apply for it. We take as many as we can, and we run them through that, and we spend as much time as possible, or as needed actually, and then we reinforce it by having you do things on the site that reinforces those ideas. I meet with you each morning. We have a group session. We go over things. Wonderful education for anyone that really wants to understand how to trade. Quit losing money and quit giving your money to other people. Start making money. I could point out trade after trade after trade. We made a trade 2 days ago. It's in the portfolio. I don't want to bring it up because it's for members only, and it's actually one of our better trading stocks, and it wouldn't be fair for me to give all these trades away for the paying members that we have on the site. But leave it at this. There is money-making opportunities. We run a portfolio. We share the portfolio with you, and what else can I say? It's good things. Let's go over. I got to do it like a Donald Trump. Just leave it at a high level, right? Let's go over. I want to look at the gold stocks here. The GDX. Here's you a trade. The GDX is a short. This thing cannot get higher. And what I want to show you is the gold itself. GLD has been pushing higher. Today, GLD got a failure, right? GDX hasn't been able to push higher. It made its spurt, got up there, and it stalled. This thing wants to come back, and it's going to come back fairly deep. There's a good trade here. If you played that IWM today with a 3-to-1, then you would have made $1,500 instead of $5. If you play this GDX with the 3-to-1, using the dust, it's going to try to come back to here and potentially all the way down to here. And I know that it's like, if you're looking at classical stuff's going to tell you, oh, this is a flag, this thing's going to go higher. Here we go with patterns. Patterns don't mean anything unless you take the context of everything else that's happening. This thing is trading into resistance. What does that mean? That means there are people there. Everyone prior to this is losing money. As you go up into that area, what do you think they're going to do? They're going to sell the stuff they've been losing money on and get their money back. That's what's happening here. I don't care if you're flagging or not. You're going to flag yourself right back down. This thing's coming down. I've been saying it for a few days. It's taking a long time, but it's going to come back down. The odds favor it to come back down. Follow the trend, folks. Don't forget where your trend is. Trend is down. This thing's got to bounce. It's going to try to come back. That's it for tonight. I'll catch up with you next time. When next time being next week on Monday. Market tomorrow, you got big news with the financials. That's going to be the big story. Are they going to lead this market higher or not? And that's what that's what they've been waiting on now is earnings. And if the earnings deliver and actually exceed, you may get another push to the top side. I still think we got some more work. We got some more NTTFs that need to reset. So I'm still thinking sideways personally for now. Have a great one. Take care. Good night.